Baugh on the left-hand side. Remember, team card holder number 16 on our Play of the Year leaderboard. Then Todd Anderson, number 10, who is someone who actually played Dredge at that Syracuse Open, but did not have a great weekend. He won the Standard Classic that weekend, but he did not do very well with Dredge. So he's playing Bantel Eldrazi, and I think this is a tough pairing for him.
I would imagine this is a solid matchup for Dredge. Bantel Eldrazi is not the fastest deck on the planet. It attacks mostly on the ground, meaning that Bridge from Below and Prize Amalgam are solid blockers for the matchup, and doesn't really interact with the graveyard either. So if this Dredge deck is decent, I have to imagine matchups like this are very positive for it.
Insolent Neonite is going to allow Jacob to draw and dredge and do everything he wants to do, and now he's going to dredge a Grave Troll here, so he's going to take a look at the top 6 cards, turn them over, Conflagrate, Prized Amalgam, Bloodgasp. Boy, he's got a Dalkmore Savage as well. He is living well.
Magic as imagined by Richard Garfield.
Yes, the dredge mechanic. Here's another Insolent Neonite. He will sacrifice that. This will allow him to discard Grave Troll. Now he'll draw a card. Bloodghast, Life in the Loam, Narcomoeba. A bunch of other goodies as well. Narcomoeba's going to come on back. Okay, Grave Troll's in the hand. Jacob taking a long look through the graveyard. He's got a land to play in Dalkmore Savage, which means Bloodghast will trigger. So 2 on the way back from the graveyard. Now, let's make it 3. Now Prized Amalgam will trigger. And that's his second turn. Todd is going to play Path to Exile. Oh, you like that turn?
That was a nice turn.
There you go. Gets a round of applause from Patrick. Todd will draw another copy of Path to Exile. This is a Matter Shaper. So can Todd overcome all the knuckleheads? Now, you mentioned Bridge from Below, but what you may not realize that Bridge from Below is starting to be removed from this deck so much, in fact, that Jacob Baugh has none in his deck.
And just up to 4 copies of Conflagrate as another graveyard payoff card. Okay, I buy it. My point stands that this matchup seems very rough.
I don't think it's good for Todd. I don't think it's good. Here's a dredge of a Stinkweed Imp. So 5 cards will be turned over. Prized Amalgam, the Grave Troll, Tormenting Voice, Copperline Gorge, and another Amalgam. Does Jacob actually have a creature to bring back from the graveyard, though? Because I don't know if Todd wants to block. Because if he blocks, then Jacob can then play a land and return Bloodghast, which will return the Amalgam. So this is a weird spot, because I'm not sure if Todd actually wants to block.
It's super risky, but also, you know, not blocking, and then Baugh can even just cast Stinkweed Imp if he wants to.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think, Todd didn't block. Just took the 7. Gonna go down to 12. Let's see what this is.
But remember, there's a Conflagrate in the graveyard already, so Anderson also just can't take these hits indefinitely.
Because then he gets punched in the face pretty hard. Discarding 4 cards, looks like Baugh will. Yes. I love it. Gonna shoot his own Bloodghast. And now he'll play his land for the turn, which means he'll get back his Bloodghast, which means that Prize Amalgams will trigger. And I think Todd, it was one of those scoop motions, but he's not going to concede just yet. Drew a copy of Reality Smasher. See Brushland plus the Temple out there. There's Yavimaya. Here's Spellskite, pass the turn back. He can sort of, kind of live. I mean, he's got a path, too. Yeah, but Jacob's got everything.
And it's so trivial for Jacob to just keep going wide here.
He's going to dredge Life in the Loam, which means he's going to have guaranteed land drops. Manic Influence providing the green mana. Here come the blocks from Anderson. The thing about Dredge is, it doesn't produce, the beefiest of threats, but he just gets to keep doing it.
Yeah, it's relentless. It's not the fastest deck in the world, and in some of the matchups that are about pure speed, sometimes the deck doesn't look great. Tom Ross got 3-0'd by Elves in the quarterfinals of the Invitational back in Jersey. But if the matchup is about what's happening on the board and removal spells and so forth, Dredge is really hard to overcome.
Todd can help Jacob out while he's shuffling. Matter Shaper is going to die. That's going to trade with Prize Amalgam, so those both go to the graveyard. Matter Shaper's trigger gives Anderson a Thought Knot Seer, which goes to his hand, not going to enter the battlefield. Now, Jacob is going to play Life from the Loam, going to have to take a damage to do it from the Mana Confluence, which means he's going to get a land back, or 2 or 3. Looks like Gemstone Mines. And now a Mana Confluence. Those will go back to his hand. He's not played a land yet this turn, so he will be doing that in just a moment. There is a gemstone mine, which means
Fast back to Faithless Looting if he wants to and keep dredging.
Yep. He's going to dredge this. Now, that means he needs to hit like a narc move. You don't get to get a good look at the dredge. Bad Jacob. Bad Jacob. Got to show off those cards, man.
He's looked at so many cards at this point that if he bricked on a Narcomoeba on 12 cards, I'd be pretty surprised.
Yeah. Oh, there's Narcomoeba. All right. Yep, Todd says we're all done here. No reason to show off the graveyard. If he found an Narcomoeba, that means he gets the Amalgams back. And that'll do it. So Jacob Baugh does win game number 1 here over Todd Anderson. Dredge very quickly up a game over Mantel Drazi. Not terribly surprised by that game 1 outcome. I just don't think it's a good game 1 matchup.
Well, Baugh with a very explosive hand on the play. And Anderson even with a pretty good curve of paths and blockers, but that's not going to cut in this matchup.
It's to the sideboards we go. And we will start with Anderson and his 2 Engineered Explosives, 3 Stony Silence. A natural state of Spellsky, 2 Gideon Allies, Zendikar, 3 Negates, and I think the big one, 3 Grafdigger's Cage.
Yeah, this seems pretty straightforward. The rest of the sideboard not offering a whole lot here, but the 3 copies of Grafdigger's Cage have to come in. One of the best cards in the format against Dredge.
Cage does seem like an auto-include here, and can even find it off Ancient Stirring. So lots of like there from Anderson, though he doesn't have a lot of options. For Jacob Baugh, a Lightning Axe, 4 Leyline of Sanctity, 2 Abrupt Decay, a Dark Blast, an Ancient Grudge, a Greater Gargadon, 3 Nature's Claim, and then 2 Collective Brutality.
I imagine the 2 copies of Abrupt Decay coming in almost every single matchup where it can conceivably kill any target, as it also is an answer to Grafdigger's Cage, which any of your opponents could have. The 1 copy of Lightning Axe seems great here as well, with a lot of big stuff in Anderson's deck to kill.
Well, there are the options there for each player. And now we will talk about the StarCityGames.com weekly sale that is taking place. Got until Monday to get 25% off of all of your moderately played foils.
Yep. New week, every sale over at StarCityGames.com goes live Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, so make sure to be checking back to the website at least once a week, see what the new sale is. This week, 25% off all moderately played foils, so if you're looking to add foils to your various commander decks or decks you play in tournaments, what have you, again, StarCityGames.com. Check out the weekly sale. Changes Monday, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, so get your foils as soon as you can.
For Jacob Baugh, currently up a game, we saw him win his first, well, I don't know if it's first open. We'll take a look at the player slide here really quick. It was his second open earlier this year. He got the job done at 4-color rally. It seems like that deck was eons ago, but it was actually earlier this year, around January, February. Saw him get the job done actually in Columbus that weekend. The 27-year-old from Waterloo, Illinois, with 9 open top 8s, 2 open wins, a member of Team Card Hoarder who plays all types of board games, RPGs, PC games, and card games, watches a lot of anime, and is a certified auto mechanic, and my car could certainly use some work. Maybe I'll have to talk to him after this tournament.
I've essentially stopped driving. It's been one of the big benefits of moving and living in a city.
Just walk to work?
Just walk up. I live 5 blocks from my office.
What's it like?
It's pretty great. I mean, we'll figure it out when the winter rolls around. Might be harder to walk.
Yeah, in Denver, yeah.
We'll see. But for now, it's been great.
You were an LA guy for what, 10 years?
Well, I was
like
living in
California guy.
So I was living in Southern California for a little over 11 years, mostly in San Diego, a little bit in Orange County, and was in LA for a bit over a year.
So have you gone soft with the cold weather?
It's still really nice out. We'll find out. I mean,
yeah.
I went home for the holidays and, traveling around for the SCG tour. I've been in Indianapolis and Columbus in the dead of winter. It's not like I haven't been around it, but living in it day in, day out, it's been a bit. Been 22, 23 years old the last time that was going on, so I'm sure there'll be an adjustment period.
So during the winter, and Denver winters are pretty cold, but you strike me as a hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you strike me as a hoodie with the hood up, no gloves, still going to jam the tennis shoes kind of guy.
Yes.
Which means
correct.
Which means that your socks will get snow on them and you will be annoyed, but won't change.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, it won't change. Yep. I had a feeling. Just pegged. I see a Clippers hoodie.
I got a lot of hoodies.
Yep. I like to bundle up. Get the pea coat and the scarf out. I don't know if you could be paid to wear a scarf.
That's not really my thing.
I didn't think so.
It's not really my thing.
But it is only 5 blocks. That's probably not too bad.
Yeah, it's manageable.
You make that work.
5 blocks, so 5 blocks to my office, 5 blocks to a grocery store, 5 blocks to the Capitol building. It's like right in the mix.
Okay.
So I've been driving very, very little since I've gotten to the city.
Not bad. Walking around's just sweet.
It is sweet.
Actually. Walking around's good.
Especially in contrast to Los Angeles, where, what does walking somewhere even mean? It's just not a concept.
So I've never actually been in New York. It's like the one city I haven't been to in the United States, and I know a lot of people don't have to drive there. Like everyone just takes the subway places and everything.
Yep, between the subway and just how tight the city is, you can walk most places.
I'd actually just want to know what that's like.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, because I've never actually lived that lifestyle.
Having a car kind of stinks once you don't need one.
Yeah. Like, I know plenty of people who live in New York or like that kind of area of the country where public transit is so good where you just don't actually need to have a car, and some people just don't know how to drive.
Right.
It's like, why would I
know this? Yeah.
That's useless to me.
I don't know how to fly a plane.
Yeah.
It's never come up.
Well, I don't know if that's the same thing, but okay.
I mean, it's the same.
Yeah.
Get to the same spot.
Sure. Here's the Noble Hierarch for Todd. We're underway here in game number 2. A Mountain and a Faithless Looting for Jacob Baugh. We had Cavern naming Human this go-around and not Eldrazi for Todd Anderson.
Well, we know this because the Noble Hierarch is in play.
Yes. Yes. Discard a couple of Dredgers here in Life in the Loam, Stinkweed Imp. Oh, yes. Give that man a medal. Todd moving everything over. Make sure that we can see it at home.
Good job.
That's right. There's an Eldrazi Temple. This is a Matter Reshaper. That's another Noble Hierarch. Pass the turn back.
I don't know if it's necessarily going to come up in this game, but another concern that I have for Anderson in the matchup is it feels like recurring Stinkweed Imp on defense is an element of the game that can come up.
It could. It could.
I guess he's got a bunch of paths. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got some ways to take care of that. It's definitely in play.
Yeah.
There's Copperline Gorge. Maybe. Maybe not. So this is curious. I think Baugh accidentally drew.
I don't know if it was an accident. Yeah, I think he wants to leave. Just get one more draw step if he's going to get back the Stinkweed Imp anyway.
All right. 2, 3, 4, 5. Decent dredge. Grave Troll's in there, so we get to dredge that now 2. So here comes 6 cards. Narcomoeba's going to come. Abrupt Decay, Mana Confluence, Gemstone Mine, Faithless Looting for later in the game. So Narcomoeba's going to come, but it's not going to bring any prize amalgams back with it. And that's it for Baugh's second turn, so not all that exciting. Engineer Explosives the draw here for Anderson. Matter Reshaper in for 5 because of Double Exalted. All right, 15. Follow up, another Reshaper. EE on 2, which is, I think, the number you wanted on in this matchup. It's going to take care of Bloodghast and Narcomoebas.
Also, Anderson's just flooded with 1s and 3s right now, so that's that's the only number left.
Yeah. Here's a Dredger of Life of the Loam. Stomping Ground, Amalgam, Bloodghast.
Nice set of cards there.
Yep.
You can loan back the lands, play a land for the Bloodghast. Amalgam comes back.
There is Loam. It's going to get back at least 1 Copperline Gorge, along with a Gemstone Mine and a Mana Confluence. So, those go to the grip. And might be Gorge is the land. Yes. So trigger, Bloodghast. Come on back. Amalgam trigger is delayed, of course. Now here is Insolent Neonites.
That's a big one, too, because that's a chump block and another dredge.
And Anderson will untap and draw. I think Reality Smasher. But here come the Matter Reshapers. Here are your blocks. This is your Dredge at instant speed. Discard Grave Troll. And Baugh will dredge the Grave Troll. So 6 cards. Grave Troll is 1, Narcomoeba is 2. Blackleaf Cliffs is 3, Gemstone Mine is 4, Narcomoeba is 5, and Bloodghast is 6. Those are good ones. But again, remember, there's Ninja Explosives on 2 on the battlefield.
Which is why I like Baugh chump blocking with the Narcomoeba there. He knows it's likely that Anderson's going to go ahead and pop the E anyway, so he wants to get the chump block in while the getting's good.
And actually, I believe the draw step actually may have been Thought Not Seer, pardon me, but we're going to take a look at the hand of Stinkweed Imp, Natural State, Tormenting Voice, Grave Troll, a couple of lands. Looks like he's going to take Natural State.
Oh, by the way, we are approaching recurring Stinkweed Imp territory.
You said
the game is starting to take that shape a little bit.
Pardon me, not Natural State, Nature's Claim. Different artwork. My apologies there.
Very good against Exalted, by the way. Oh, Stinky.
I've hardcast many a Stinky in my day.
I mean, in draft, that thing was
Busted.
busted.
Yeah.
Seal of Doom meets Dredge. About as fun as you can get in draft.
And occasionally deals the opponent 1. Another Dark Amoeba. Bloodghast, Gemstone Mine, Mountain, Life in the Loam, and Conflagrate.
Good one to find, too.
Yep.
And as you used the word before, relentless.
Yep.
It's just Anderson had a great curve this game, but it's just so hard for him to get any sort of positive footing.
Feels like I'm watching The Walking Dead. They just keep coming. They never leave. Here come the attackers.
And I'm imagining here that Anderson's going to see the Noble Hierarchs wiped away and possibly more in the event that he blocks with the Thought-Knots here.
Mm-hmm. Looks like no blocks, though. Todd's got a lot of life to work with. Baugh, I mean, I think he's thinking about that Conflag right now. It's just how he wants to go about using it.
Yeah, I mean,
so powerful right now.
I feel like it's a no-brainer to take care of the Noble Hierarchs if you can and try to pin the mana a little bit here.
There is Conflag.
If it's...
How many does he want to discard? Gonna path the Amalgam and Will Anderson with the leftover mana. I mean, Todd in a weird roundabout way, like, I mean, it's got a pretty good board, you know?
Yeah, the board's not bad. The absence of trample, though, is kind of problematic.
Yeah, that's not the only thing missing.
Given that Baugh could be chumping. And in fact is approaching a spot where he might be able to just dredge back a Grave Troll and cast it.
Yep.
Like, that's starting to become a thing. I think Stinkweed Imp on defense could be a thing in a couple of turns. You know, Baugh's just got a lot of different options here of how he wants to manage this game. Not that Anderson has nothing going on, but it's kind of low power in comparison to what Baugh's doing.
Here's Tormenting Voice. 6 cards, one of which Surprise Amalgam. The rest don't matter too much. He's already used 3 Narcomoebas, maybe all of them. He might have all 4. Realistically, is he's going to dredge Stinkweed Imp. So Copperline Gorge. He might actually... He may have exhausted himself of relevant things to do. Anderson will draw. He's going to blow EE, kill everything. Get in here for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Play a Temple Garden, pass the turn back. Remember, Prize Amalgam comes back tapped.
Mm-hmm.
Bloodghast can't block. Todd's not low enough that Bloodghast is going to come back and have haste. If Jacob's plan is to just replay a Stinkweed Imp, okay, whatever. Just attack, pass, and kill you. There are no more Narcomoebas. I think he just has to take a draw step because there's nothing good for him to dredge into.
Yeah, and he's lost the Lightning Axe.
Uh-huh. Picked up a Grave Troll, which doesn't matter all that much. And if his turn is just play a big Grave Troll, Todd can just attack by that.
Kind of odd. Baugh had the opportunity to dump his whole hand last turn. He could have taken care of the Thought-Knots here for his trouble as well with the remaining 4 cards. And at that point, he also gets another dredge for his trouble as well.
Very true.
Something about the line of play from last turn in the order of operations doesn't quite line up.
Here's Stinky and Bloodghast, and I think Todd is just going to untap. Yeah, Amalgam's going to come back, sure, but Todd can just say untap, attack you with everything, and that is going to do it. So, Todd Anderson's going to win game number 2 here over Jacob Baugh. All that dredging for nothing as Bantel Eldrazi and Dredge going to get ready here for game number 3.
I think Baugh is probably not thrilled with the line of play they take there to toll some of the parts because he had the opportunity to, you know, he could have been leveraged a lot more on 3-mana permanents. If he had gone in the route of like recurring Stinkweed Imp or at least getting the Thought-Knot Seer off the table, then at that point he probably has enough breathing space to leverage his graveyard. As it stood, he kind of didn't protect himself and made sure his board was nothing but 2-cost permanents, so he just couldn't beat Engineer Explosives and Alpha Striking twice. Feels like that's avoidable with the tools that he had.
Yeah, I mean, he got to do everything he wanted that game, right?
Right.
He saw 3/4 of his deck,
Yep.
dredged everything, found all the Narcomoebas, amalgams, all that stuff, and then ended up losing. So Anderson found a way.
The Conflagrate, not kill anything meaningful, and then also not protect yourself line, I feel like there's got to be a better path than the one that he found.
Well, game number 3 going to be underway here in just a moment, but we're going to talk about the wonderful promotion when it starts the games. It is, of course, El Game Night Reno. And in the month of September, as you may have seen on our lapels, we've got Bone Chewer Giant, but more stuff coming down the pipeline.
Head over to go.starcgames.com/game night for more information and find the game night closest to you. Every month we come out with new kits with pins and foils we send to the stores. The stores can then run game night however they want, any day of the week, any format they want. Just get players in the store on a regular basis for some fun and friendly magic. The September kit you're playing for right now is a Bone Chewer Giant. We've announced our next couple of kits. October will be Hedgehogahog, and then November, which we are announcing for the first time, to my knowledge at least, we have Mole Warden. Again, go.starcgames.com/game night. Find the game night closest to you. Stores, if you want to get signed up for game night and have not yet, contact your Star City Games in-store play representative.
All right, that does it for game night. Both players are going to take a look at opening hand. We are underway here in game number 3. Jacob Baugh with a Mana Confluence. And now it's a Faithless Looting. So he'll draw 2, and he'll be discarding 2 cards here in just a moment. But which ones will he be discarding? Do they have Dredge on them? And that is the question. Life in the Loam looks like 1. Don't have a great look at the other one that Jacob's considering just yet, though there is a Tormenting Voice in hand. But he's going to go with Insolent Neonate. Anderson will draw. You can see the Grafdigger's Cage in his hand already. And there it is. That's a big one. We'll see what that Cavern's aiming, of course, but I think the more important card is the artifact, this Cavern's aiming human.
I can't imagine that Anderson would keep 7 on the draw if it didn't involve Grafdigger's Cage. I think he's got to be very aggressive in the mulliganing for that.
Copperline Gorge. And Tormenting Voice. Baugh will be discarding a Gemstone Mine. And 2 cards on the way. He's on the search for Abrupt Decay or one of his Nature's Claims. That is another copy of Cavernous Souls, and it's just a boring passing of the turn here. That one is naming Eldrazi. So an Eldrazi and human are taken care of here for Anderson. Real lack of, I would say, colored mana.
Yep.
Would you say?
And maybe land drops, period.
Yeah. But I guess this, I mean, we're going to see right now, is Grafdigger's Cage a card that this Dredge deck can beat if it doesn't kill?
I think it's possible. It's definitely challenging, but I've heard stories. I've not seen it firsthand.
Black Leaf Cliffs. Oh, there it is.
Well, that's step 1.
Yeah. That's a 3/3. Oh, second Grafdigger's Cage. All right, he's cage flooded. Classic cage flood.
All right, well, this is one way to beat Grafdigger's Cage. You know, he's got a Lightning Axe, he's got Kill Spell left over. I mean, we look all right.
Yep. Just how we drew it up. Draw a card. These are
Stinky!
Yeah. See, these are my favorite wins with Dredge, is when it happens this way. Just going to grind you down.
Oh, yeah. Let it rip.
Man, he lost a Gemstone Mine. He's going to pick that up. It'll come in with 3 mining counters. And El Stinkerino. Let's go back over to Anderson. Draw a card. I'd recommend drawing a land. That's another Eldrazi Displacer.
Mm-hmm.
He can't even play his Ancient Stirrings.
Baugh with a great offense-defense setup here, too.
Dredge a couple. Narcomoeba, nope, doesn't come back. Keep that down there. Grafdigger's Cage says no. In for 4. Anderson down to 13. Here's a Life in the Loam. Baugh going to get back Gemstone Mine. Going to play Gemstone Mine. Any sweet follow-ups? I think it just probably hold. Yeah, Anderson will draw. Ancient Stirrings. Todd is stoic as ever.
Probably just getting ready for the Bama, Mississippi game.
Yeah. Anderson will dredge Life in the Loam.
Now we got Grave Troll ready to rock.
You're gonna hard cast it. It's gonna be pretty big. I mean, big enough. Like if it's a 3/3 or a 4/4, you're happy.
He's got Lightning Axe as a leftover. He's got a kill spell rolled up.
4/4. Anderson.
Ravnica Duel coming just for the rub-ins.
Ooh, Brushland right on time.
Okay.
There. Displacer, is it you? Can you save me? All right, it's going to try. Todd has to take 0 to play that because of the cavern. So he's at 9. Baugh will untap and draw. He's going to dredge another Grave Troll. So 6 cards down there. Oh, Conflagrate will probably.
Yep.
Cage. Yep, Cage, nope.
But just another Grave Troll in the hard cast.
Yep.
Also, Lightning Axe is awesome here. I mean,
Gonna, I think, maybe ask Todd a question. Let's see.
Let me axe you something.
Yeah, here's a Life in the Loam first. Get a couple of lands back, will Jacob Baugh. Copperline Gorge. Gonna, I think, axe that Displacer a little question here. It doesn't want to answer. And is it beat down a clock? Yep, Anderson down to 1. Anderson will draw. Yeah, going to do it with the Brushland. Yeah, he's going to take himself out. There's Nation Stirrings. Jacob Baugh's going to win this match. 2 games to 1 over Todd Anderson. Game 3, an embarrassing turn for Todd, unfortunately. Got to keep that hand every single time, but his deck did not call up the lands, and that means Jacob Baugh moving on to 5-1.
Yep, not a whole lot of analysis to take away from that game. Number 3, I think Anderson should keep his hand there 100% of the time, and sometimes you just don't draw the 3rd land until Golgari Grave Troll is beating you down